Good morning, Designer Walls.
This is a conversation with Kathy Pierce, who founded Designer Walls Incorporated in 1987, based in large part on taking some of the business theory management practices that were cutting edge at the time in corporate America and applying them in somewhat of a non-traditional sense to the contracting world, which has been a trademark of Designer Walls since that time and up until today.
Hi, I'm Kathy Pierce. I am the owner, founder, and president of Designer Walls. And I'd like to tell a story today about my journey in starting a contracting company from absolutely nothing and taking it to multi-million-dollar business in 2022. I started in 1987 after leaving a successful banking career, but pretty disillusioned after reading my mentor, Tom Peters, in Search of Excellence. And what I wanted to do was create some business founded on the principles of Tom Peters, which were people and relationships and getting things done. In 1987, being a home-based business was not acceptable if you were going to be a serious, legit business, and that was the goal here. We were going to be a big commercial contractor. That was my vision. A committee was formed with the Greater Cleveland Growth Association, and I was the chairperson for home-based businesses. Now, we were just moving out of our house, finally, to another location, and I got us into Crane's Cleveland business to talk about what it was like to start a home-based business. So not only did Crane's talk about the home-based business, but they also featured Designer Walls in the article. And the gist of it was we were a community, an up-and-coming community of entrepreneurs that wanted to be in business but didn't have the capital to do anything but start in their house. The first crew that we put together for actually implementing commercial painting projects was a real ragtaggy bunch of friends, relatives, part-time people. They wanted to be involved with somebody that they thought believed in them, that would give them an opportunity, and that's what they found with us. Our first major project was a Toys R Us department store, brand new, out of the ground, construction. We were hired as the commercial painting company, and when the job superintendent called me to the job site to tell me that they were ready, I went and I looked up at the ceiling, and I thought it was going to be a flat ceiling, but it was a big open deck ceiling, huge. I probably estimated 100 gallons, and I think it took around 400 gallons. So it was a huge, huge mistake on my part, but we got through it, we painted it. Our vendor at the time, Sherwin-Williams, still our vendor, helped us out with funding the product, the excess product that we needed. But that was a project that I will never forget. It was a huge learning curve, and immediately after that project, I signed up for a blueprint reading class. We had no business, we had no customers. So I went out with my business briefcase and started knocking on doors of potential customers. I was calling people, writing letters. You couldn't sit there and wait for customers to come to you. You had to really, really, really go out and call on people and bring in the business.
One Wednesday, Kathy cold called our firm, and I was in desperate need of a painting contractor at that time. I had a local project and it was a perfect fit. We went on to complete the renovation of a boutique hotel 4 different times over the course of 35 years, during which we developed not only a working relationship, but a great friendship.
It's all about the relationships. It's all about your team. Without having a cohesive, highly motivated, excited team, you can't get stuff done. And so that was a driving force for me to start Designer Walls. That's why I started the business, because I didn't like how people were being treated in corporate America. So I wanted to do it my way, and we implemented a lot of things. We had a newsletter. We had a company newsletter in the first 5 years, and we would feature someone every month, talk about them, their family, told everybody what was going on, what projects, and this was unheard of, especially in commercial painting. There was no commercial painting contractors that had internal newsletters in 1987. Company picnics, awards, just every kind of little thing I could think of that would be fun and motivating.
The jobs that I had worked on for designer walls blew me away. It helped me build my work ethic so much that I carry it to this day. I worked for Kathy over 20 years, and the things I learned from her and the people that work with me is amazing. So energetic, and I'll be forever grateful.
Well, the results were we kept going. The first 10 years were anything but easy. Could have gone out of business a billion times for mistakes or not knowing or just so many things to know, and everything was a first. Nothing was templated. There was nowhere for you to go to find out or figure out how to do things. So having a highly motivated team that believed in the core values of what we were doing was everything.
As a business owner, you got to be the one directing the energy. Energy starts here. Kathy Pierce, small in stature, energy is ginormous.
We had an opportunity to do a complete turnkey renovation for the Marriott Hotel, and that was our niche. We were seeing that the hotel world was something that we really liked doing work in, but we never had an opportunity to do a turnkey project, which was start to finish, everything in a hotel room, paint, carpet, wall finishes, furniture, electric, plumbing, the whole thing. So we had the opportunity, we won the business, we won the project, we did the turnkey project, and it ended, but it was sort of disastrous because we had nothing in place for a process. And that's what made me jump into the field and start to actually get my hands dirty and do the work myself and develop and create a process for doing these kinds of projects, which also mirrored into any type of project. It was sequencing, it was having little systems, it was doing something as simple as wood doorstops in every single hotel room. When you're doing 30 hotel rooms at a time, you better make sure that all the doors are open. When you're doing 30 hotel rooms at a time and you promise to have them all done in 4 weeks, you better not lose any hardware. So we put buckets in the bathrooms, all kinds of little things like that I developed, I documented, and I started to teach my team. And that was the beginning of the most success of the company.
This process was completely different at the time of what other people were doing. Most people in the contracting world aren't the most organized, and Kathy was here to shake that up and make sure that her company was meticulously organized. In our general warehouse, we have labels for everything that goes out onto the job site as well. We can see where anything is at any given time, and that allows us to be able to finish on time and with a solid product.
In that second decade, I won the Governance Award for Women in Business in the construction category for the state of Ohio. Part of that was I got a lot of PR from it. I was in the Plain Dealer, several other business publications, and it was really, really good PR because it continued to make us very credible to anyone that I was approaching for new business. 2005, the field is evolving, and it's evolving because I, from the very beginning, recruited college students. And in those very early days, I used college students in the summer primarily. Again, that was unheard of in the trades. The trades would never even think to use a college student because in their mind, in the world of construction, you need to be a skilled labor person in whatever trade you were in. But I didn't believe that to be true, and that turned out to be absolute. So I was recruiting at college campuses way back in 1987, but by 2004, I really started to develop a following and group of college students. And as time went on, I saw that not only could they learn quickly, but they had enthusiasm and energy, and they were professional in the way they handled themselves, and they just had more forward thinking than hardly anybody else in the field. And they were starting to become very dominant with my workforce. Again, it was very unusual to use college students for your primary business, not just summer help. So the core of our projects at this time period were full-blown renovations. By now we are really honing our process, our skill. We're making a reputation out there. People want us everywhere, and we start to take it on the road. We have customers and owners here in Cleveland that have hotels and properties all over the country, and we're being asked to travel to places like Lafayette, Louisiana, Fort Myers, Florida, Albany, New York, Syracuse, New York, Kent Island, Maryland. I mean, just all over the East Coast, everything east of Chicago, we were doing major projects. And we were implementing the same process for recruiting when we would go out of town. I would immediately find the first college campus I could find and make friends with the Career Center, try to get the word out to college students, contact fraternities, and once again, this proved to be highly successful. Some of those students that worked for us 15 years ago are still in touch with us today. They fit right in, they loved it, they brought great energy, and once again, it proved to be one of the most successful things that we did. Well, this is the last generation, and I have now formulated the dream team, which happens around 2012. So the dream team is now all college graduates, and they were recruited either through schools or through friends, and I stopped viewing them as being temporary at all. And I started to look at them, and so did my two managers, as, you know what, when you graduate, this is a great place to work. It doesn't matter that it's in the trades. It took 30 years to really mold and put together and really develop the whole process, but the very final years were highly profitable and highly successful.
Kathy created the list because this isn't an industry standard. People in the construction business sometimes aren't always the most organized. So every day we have a meeting and say, this is what we're going to get done today. You itemize everything, you communicate that with the guys. Once they understand what you expect, they execute. That being said, we renovate hotels, so this could be a 6-month process. So if you can know what you do in a day, a week, 6 months later goes by, you're ending on the date that you expected to.
10, 15 years ago, you could be on the street any second. The profitability of the last 15 to 10 years was pretty fantastic, especially the last 10 years. We had back-to-back $1 million years, and it was very successful, but that was not always the case. So there was a lot of volatility with the business. It was a lot of up and down because of the economy, because of Cleveland, all of that. But the very final years were highly profitable and highly successful. Oprah magazine contacted us. They had heard about us through the National Women's Business Owners Association, and they featured Designer Walls as a full-page article in Oprah magazine. It sure was fun telling people that I was in Oprah magazine.
Designer Walls was just coming off of a very successful year when the pandemic hit and brought us to a screeching stop. We primarily service the hotel industry, and this is one of the industries that was hit the hardest. So this means that they canceled all current projects that were happening, and they also canceled all future projects indefinitely. That we had to work hard and we had to figure this out now, or that when this was over, there would be no business to come back to. And that is exactly what she did. She was grinding throughout the entire pandemic in the office, working Monday through Friday. She started new marketing campaigns. She was sending out email blasts to even mailing out mailers, trying to generate new business. We also started a disinfecting branch of the business during the pandemic. We were actually spraying disinfectant just for our current customers. This was allowing us to at least keep the guys working and to stay in front face with our current accounts. It was because of this, all this perseverance, that miraculously we were able to pull through the pandemic. Not only that, but we went on the next year to have the most profitable year in the company's history.
Starting a successful business as an entrepreneur 35 years ago was a dream, and it was realized, and it was highly successful, but not without a lot of perseverance, blood, sweat, and tears, hard work. Thought you were going to fail, and then you climbed the top of the mountain and you came out on top. But it wasn't easy, and it's never going to be easy if you start a business. It's not for the weak at heart. You need to be able to go, and you need to be able to believe in yourself and your idea with passion and enthusiasm. And most important are all the business principles are applied to every single business there is. No business is unique and on its own as far as the basics. And the basics, of course, are sales and marketing, number one. You can have the best product, service in the entire world, but if nobody knows about it, it's going nowhere. Finance, accounting, management, operations, PR, human resources, all those things come into play with every single business. And if you can transfer that to any type of business, you can be successful. You just have to do the work, persevere, and not give up on your idea and your passion.